live for the buffalo eggs and the deep fried breaded steak strips tonight. I know a bunch of people probably didn't know buffalo lay eggs, but there you go. They're big.
Really?
Yeah, buffaloes lay big eggs.
I did not know that. Thank you for teaching me something new.
Yeah,
If
that's
y'all
why they have wings.
Wow. If y'all can hear us and see us, and if you don't mind commenting, that would be wonderful. Just make sure everyone can see us.
Yeah, let us know where you guys are watching from. Say hello to each other, and hit the like and get that little thumbs up thing and the share button. Send it to a buddy who always is probably forgetting that I go live at 6 o'clock here every Tuesday. So get some friends backstage with us here.
I just got a notification on my phone that Chris Cooking Nashville guy is live on YouTube right now.
And if I ever find him, I'm gonna kick his butt. He owes me money.
Does he?
He does.
Well, then he owes me money. Let's get on it.
Yeah.
Let's get on it.
Track him down.
Yep. Hey, so we got a couple people watching.
Great.
Pa Bearder says, evening all.
There he is.
I'm a little worried about buffalo eggs. I know what come out of buffalo and it ain't no eggs. That's awesome.
That's
great,
fantastic.
great comment. Mr. Randy, Rankin Cook Canoise here.
There he is. Hey, Randy.
He says, good evening, Chris and Ash. Ash, hope you're kicking in on carnivore. Looking forward to the live stream tonight. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
He also says, Chris, today I made your carnivore mayonnaise. I've made a lot of homemade mayonnaise in my time, but that is pure genius. Thank you.
That's good stuff. There's going to be some of that used in the recipes here tonight. So, see, good timing.
Tasty stuff. Lynn's here, 22Q.
There she is. How are you, Lynn?
She says, hey there, Chris, Ash, and all. I forgot about your new intro until I saw it again tonight. Nice.
Thanks.
Love it. Southern Keto's here. He says, hey, y'all. Let's see. Mary's here, says, yum. Even though I am in Minnesota, I do like a little heat.
There we go.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, Mary.
Janice is here, says, welcome, everyone.
Hello, Janice.
Let's see. We got Jack watching from Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right.
We got Addicted to Antlers in New Mexico.
Yep, there he is.
D. Lee says hello.
Hello.
Health or bust. Made it back to alive. Hi from Southern California.
All right. I bet the weather out there is nicer than it is here right now.
Probably so. Probably so. Robert Harvey says, very curious about buffalo eggs.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Aren't we all?
We are going to talk about it.
Awesome. Cool, babe. Well, yeah, we got lots of people tuned in, watching.
Awesome.
So.
Well, hopefully everyone will keep tuning in. And as you guys are watching, just hit the thumbs up, hit the share button, let people know that we're here, that we're live, that we do this every Tuesday, because the only reason this is successful is because you guys, one, show up, and two, you tell other people about it. That's why we do it. So I think this is going to be fun. If you guys have questions along the way, drop it into the comments. And actually, I've seen a bunch of people do this on their live streams. This may make it a lot easier for Ash because, God bless her, she is operating the camera and she's reading the questions and she's doing all this simultaneously. If you want to ask a question that you would like us to answer, put like a Q or like 3 Qs in front of it. I've seen people do that in their live streams, even some that I've been on. It just makes it a little easier for us. So drop that down in the comments if you have a question. We'll get to as many of them as we can. Bunch of them roll in and I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff and I tend to talk at length because I got a big mouth. But we'll try to get to as many of your questions as we possibly can. And we're going to go through what we've got here. So just so you guys kind of are aware of what's going on. I apologize, I'm clearing my throat. Allergies are bad. I have hard-boiled eggs over here, and the yolks of those eggs I have put in the bowl here and smashed up. That's going to be used for our buffalo eggs. I also have canned chicken. You can use any kind of shredded chicken. I just wanted to make this simple tonight, so I'm using canned chicken. This is kind of an experimental recipe. You guys are going to be the first to see it. This is an idea I've had for a while, but never actually gone to the trouble of doing it. And I thought maybe it would be cool to share it with you, and then if it's terrible, I'll tell you just not to do it. But it should be fun for us to do it together. I think it's going to turn out pretty good. So that's going to be the buffalo eggs. And then for the fried steak strips, I saw this on, I forget where this was. There was some small town. It was one of those my like 600-pound life episodes, and there was some small town where this person was going through the drive-through at a local restaurant, and they had ribeye fries, and I was like, what the heck is a ribeye fry? And it was basically steak strips that had been breaded and deep fried that you could dip like a fry, and I thought that was a really cool idea, and this sounded really good. It's kind of a chicken fried steak vibe, but I wanted to come up with the keto and carnivore version, so I have I'm using sirloin because they had some sirloin on sale, and it's super, super tender to do something with it like this. But I have sirloin, there is egg white and salt and pepper, garlic powder that has been worked all through that, and that has been sitting marinating in raw egg whites and the salt, pepper, and garlic powder in the refrigerator for several hours. And then I have my carnivore breading mixture here that I've already mixed up. So we're gonna bread it with that. I have the egg yolks right here that are gonna go on the steak. That's from the egg whites that I'd separated. It's just 2 egg whites here and 2 egg yolks there. So there's gonna be a couple of things you'll need for these recipes. The carnivore breading is very much what I did in my carnivore chicken fried steak from like a year ago. I've linked that video in the description. I am so sorry for the quality of that video. I knew even less what I was doing then than I do now, and I'm gonna be redoing that video soon. But that is there if you wanna know how I do the carnivore breading on steak like that. It's the exact same basic breading. It's, you know, probably a little bit of different seasonings, but same thing. You can kind of do it however you want. Excuse me. The chicken flour video is also linked. I've done a how you make chicken flour at home video. That is linked. I am using in this pork rinds tonight. So there are ground up pork rinds in there, but if you don't like pork rinds, if you don't want to use pork rinds, if you don't eat pork for either health or religious reasons, whatever, you can use chicken flour instead. So I have my video on how to make chicken flour linked down below. We're also going to be doing my carnivore butter mayo ranch dressing. That's going to be for the dipping for the steaks. That is also linked down below, as well as my buffalo sauce. You're going to need to know how to make my buffalo sauce, so I've linked that down there as well. And I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, my easy peel eggs for the hard-boiled eggs. How to get these to peel perfectly and super simple every single time without having to add stuff to the water that, let's be honest, doesn't really work. This makes it work every single time. So those videos are all linked down below, as well as a link to my pans, the tongs that I'm using, my cutting boards, like just some different things that might be helpful for you guys, all linked down below for you. So we're gonna start on some of this stuff here. I'm gonna get the deviled eggs, the buffalo eggs really, done first, and then we're gonna set those to the side, and then we'll focus on the steaks, and that way the steaks are ready to go, okay? So here we go.
You're going to show us how buffalo lays an egg?
I'm going to show you how a buffalo lays an egg.
I'm very, very excited for this. 22QCat says that butter ranch dressing is bomb. Just saying.
Thank you. I love that stuff, and I know a whole bunch of other people do too. I've been told by Anita, a ketogenic woman, that all of the ladies who are in like her private group on Facebook talk about, they just call it Chris Ranch. They don't even bother describing what they're talking about. They just don't know what it is because they love it. So
how long would you say I ate that? I think I ate it like every day for at least a year.
You ate it every day for probably a year.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff is like delicious.
Yeah,
like,
fantastic.
Oh, so good.
Fantastic. So I'm going to move my flour and my steak just out of the way for now. So what I have is the egg yolks in a bowl here. Now I did 8 eggs. I always do a couple of extra eggs in case they pop or they crack or they break when I'm trying to boil them, because usually you get one. I didn't have a single one, so I have all 8 egg yolks in here, and I have all of the egg whites over there cut in half, so we're gonna make 8. So ideally, if this is gonna be really good, I'm gonna make them 12 at a time, you know, and that way you get 24 of these buffalo eggs. But this is my buffalo sauce, which is made with butter mayo. It's buffalo sauce made from my carnivore butter mayo, and that video is down below, but that's what I'm going to use instead of a regular mayo in my egg yolks here. I'm going to use this buffalo sauce instead. And then I'm also going to add in a little bit of blue cheese, which if you don't like blue cheese or you're just not interested in the blue cheese, you can totally leave it out. It's optional, but we love blue cheese with like our buffalo wings. So we're going to add some blue cheese in there as well. And here's the deal, guys, with this kind of stuff, especially when you're doing like a deviled egg style thing or like these buffalo eggs, no need to measure. I'm just putting in spoonfuls, and I'm just going to mix this up, and I want it to be saucy because I'm going to mix chicken into it as well. And when I make like this egg yolk mixture for things like deviled eggs or these buffalo eggs, I like using a fork. I just think it works better, personally. So you mix this up however you want, but I've done every method of trying to mix up eggs like this in the book, And I have always found the fork to be just the simplest and most effective for me personally.
I love it. Jackie EV has a question for us.
Absolutely.
Did you guys see the eclipse?
Unfortunately, no. It was pretty much totally overcast here. And on top of being overcast, I work during the day doing armed security and stopping to stand out in the middle of the field and attempt to see the eclipse through the cloud cover would probably have been pretty looked down upon by my supervisor. So I just kind of did my thing and drove around. But my parents actually live in the path of totality, and they had a little cookout with family yesterday, got people together and sat there and watched it and said it was a blast.
Yeah, it was very cloudy here. Mary actually says we had clouds too. It was great.
Mm-hmm. So now it's all mixed up. I'm going to put my chicken in there too.
Cool. Sylvia Carver just gave you a $10 super thanks.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys have no idea, one, how much that means, and two, how much it helps, because it's not cheap to do this stuff and experiment as much as I do, and we just appreciate the support because you guys make it possible for us to do this. All right. So we're going to get that mixture all mixed up with the chicken there. And then we're going to go ahead and go to some blue cheese.
Awesome. This comment is cracking me up. You were talking about measuring your sauce, you know, how much you put in.
Right.
And Don Smith said, measure with your heart.
Yes.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Amen.
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to add in a little bit of blue cheese there. Blue cheese crumbles. We might even save a little bit to put over the top. And we're just going to mix those through.
Sylvia says, I made some mayonnaise with bacon grease. Will that work in this recipe?
Absolutely. So Anita from Ketogenic Woman has told me that she actually prefers mayonnaise made with bacon grease usually. That's what she has just a lot of, and so she likes making her mayo with bacon grease pretty regularly, and she's used my recipe. She said it comes out a little bit thicker, but that it still works just as well. So you may want to add just like a spoon or so of water if you want to thin it out slightly, like right before you put it in the fridge, but it should absolutely work the same for you. Just follow those instructions and swap out bacon grease for the butter.
Awesome. Marie Skidmore says, yay, catching a live from Avondale, Arizona.
Hello,
Welcome.
Marie. We're really glad you're here.
Welcome. And Rand Can Cook Canoy give you a $20 super thanks.
Oh, Rand, you are just the man. Randy is in so many ways and so many different areas supportive of this channel. And honestly, guys, like everyone should give Randy a shout out in the comments because I feel like half the time he single-handedly keeps us going.
He really does, though.
He's super supportive. He's a great guy, great friend, and like is always emailing me pictures of his, you know, his recreations of my recipes and stuff. And you guys don't know how much that kind of support just makes this so much easier to do. We really appreciate that kind of stuff and people like him. So
he says, we really enjoy your live streams. Eva, Riley, and Rand Can Cook.
Yeah.
I also love the picture that he sent of his dog, by the way, Riley. The cutest little dog.
Adorable. Absolutely
Super cute.
adorable. Okay, so I added just a little more buffalo sauce to this because it's just a little on the thick side, which is actually really good, but I wanted to just soften it up a little bit. And this is something I encourage you guys to do as you're sort of cooking freeform like this, because I've never done this recipe before. So as you're cooking freeform like this, you got to adjust as you go, learn to, you know, maneuver through your recipes in the kitchen, and then also got to taste while you go. Because if you cook with your eyes, you cook with your nose, you cook with your basic instinct, all of these different kinds of things, it's great, but you do have to, at some point, come around to tasting.
Oh, you're doing a little dance?
I'm doing a little dance. It's great. It doesn't need anything. It's perfect just the way it is. So, if you wanted to mix a little something in there, you could. But this doesn't need anything. So, we are going to make this super easy on ourselves. Let me show you how I like to fill my deviled eggs. Because that's essentially what these are, is just buffalo deviled eggs, but done in a really cool way. Now, something else you could do is you could take little pieces of bacon, fry crispy bacon, cut it into little pieces, and you could put little bacon flags in each one. That would be really good too.
Oh, come on.
But
Darlene says, first time joining live from Western New York.
Hi,
where
Darlene.
We do everything buffalo style.
Yeah. So I've actually eaten buffalo wings from supposedly the place where they originated in Buffalo, and they were very good. They were very, very good. I think mine are better. I'm sorry. I know that's probably sacrilegious to say. I know, but I mean, they were good. Don't get me wrong. They were very, very good. As far as restaurants go, probably the best restaurant buffalo wings I've ever had. My wife can tell you how good the wings are when I make them, though.
They are really, really good.
Okay, so we're going to take a coffee cup, we're going to take a Ziploc bag, and we are going to put all of this mixture down into that Ziploc bag. And I actually have a video, I should have linked that below too, of doing deviled eggs. And this is the exact thing that I say to do in that too. But I think you guys will get the gist. So we're just going to spoon our mixture in. See how nice and thick, but also saucy this is at the same time? I'm trying to come up with a whole different way of approaching eggs and doing some different things. I'm going to be doing some live stream stuff in the private group that Dr. Barry has. If you guys know about Dr. Barry's tribe, he and Nisha have asked me to come in and do some members only content in there. So if you guys are members in Dr. Barry's group, keep an eye out for some of the stuff I'm going to be doing in there. If you're not members in his group, you should totally think about joining. It is a really cool group and a lot of wonderful people in there, and it just helps support work by a couple of great people that are doing great things for all of us in this community. But I'm trying to come up with a series of different things I can do, including using things like eggs, ground beef, cheap stuff, that will be unique approaches and fun recipes that don't require lots of intense cooking or lots of expensive ingredients or any of that kind of stuff. So, okay, so the bag comes out. Get rid of the coffee cup now. We're just going to seal this up. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Let's chat a little bit while I get ready to fill these up.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Great. I'm just going to grab some scissors, and I'm going to clip off the corner of this bag and start filling deviled eggs while Ash asks me your questions.
Awesome. Let's see here. Happy Ferret wants to know, how is carnivore going for you, Ash? It's going really good. I've been on it for a whole week, and Chris can fill you in more, but we actually, I believe it's tomorrow, are having our second health vlog. Is that right, tomorrow?
That's right. Tomorrow that health vlog will be coming out, and Ash has lots to say.
Well, I usually do, but yeah, no, it's going really well, and
lots of good, interesting things to say. Not just ramblings, but she has lots of really good thoughts and points to make. So I think you guys will really enjoy that. It is a longer video. I apologize, but I didn't want to cut out any of the things she was saying because they were very important, and she shares a little bit of her personal story that a lot of you probably don't know anything about, and I would love for you to hear a little bit more about my amazing wife.
Oh, you're very sweet. But no, it's all going really good. So yeah, I guess just watch the health vlog tomorrow where we fill you in on everything. But
yeah, but she's feeling good.
Yeah, feeling well, doing good. It's lost a little bit of weight and everything. Let's see here. By the way, you were talking about Dr. Barry's group, and I know that this gentleman is definitely a member because I've seen him on the live streams when we've done him there.
Yeah.
And he's come to your channel. But Paul Bearder, he says his actual real name is Bob. Just
Bob.
FYI. So now we know his real name.
Love
so
it.
Bob,
Love
so
it.
Nice to actually meet you and not just know your YouTube handle.
Yes. YouTube handles are cool, but sometimes they seem a little impersonal because it's so tough sometimes to figure out, like, who is this person? What is their actual name? Like, you know.
Jeremo W says, another Berry Tribe member here, PhD.
Yeah, PhD. Hello, my fellow tribe member. I am a very proud member of that group, and guys, there's just cool stuff that goes on over there, and there's good people over there. Like,
very good people.
Like people that are not just average people either. I mean, you're talking like people who know their stuff because they've been following Dr. Barry a long time and they've learned a great deal from him. And they can really help and answer questions even when he is not available to, get to a question of yours. There's so many people in the tribe that can answer questions and help you out.
Maritza Garz is here, says, watching your live today from Las Vegas.
Hello, I'm so glad you're here.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Love it.
I've never been to Vegas, but I'd love to make a trip someday.
I've been many times. I enjoy it.
I'd love for us to go out there and play a show is what I'd love, actually.
Yeah. All your clothes come back smelling like smoke. It's wonderful. Let's see here. 22QCat says, I love that I can get my daily eggs in with so many of your recipes, but they never taste like egg. It's wonderful.
Yeah, Ash agrees with you on that.
I agree. It's nice when you can get the nutrients and not the flavor.
Ash loves eggs when I make eggs. She does not love eggs when it's supposed to taste like bread or potatoes or any of the other crazy things I do with eggs.
Yeah, I just don't like fake things.
Yeah.
I like to keep it real.
All right, so there's our buffalo eggs. If you want to be a little fancy, because why not? I'm a fancy boy. Just gonna get a little paprika, and we're gonna actually do this in a controlled manner.
These smell really good too, y'all.
Don't they?
I know that's kind of odd, but I think with all the sauce and everything you put in them, they have a really, really good smell.
They honestly, they smell a lot like hot wings, which was kind of what I was sort of going for with this, and I think there's other ways, like I said, that you could make this fancy, and I'm, thinking of, we could do the bacon flags, you could do the like Parmesan cheese tuile, which is like the little crispy Parmesan rounds that you bake in the oven, and you could stick one of those on top. Like there's different ways that we could make these a little fancier, and they would just sing probably.
Renee Reed says, went off the plan for 4 days this weekend for Long Cousins weekend, paying the price, back to it, and deviled eggs on the plan this week.
I hear that. You know what? Good for you, one, for getting back to it, and two, for coming in the group and sharing that you went off plan for a few days, because guess what? It happens, I think, to everybody. And I'm not saying it's a good thing for your body, but it's also not like the end of the world or some reason that we need to burn each other at the stake either. Like that's crazy. And the dogmatic approach of, you failed and you're terrible and whatever, like that doesn't do anybody any good. And we tend to make that happen to ourselves. Like we get super judgmental in our own heads, and then we let that be the reason that we just don't get back to doing what we're supposed to do and whatever. So good for you for like saying, hey, I went off and now I'm back on and I'm doing my thing. That's great.
Yeah. The important thing is just going back on.
Yep. These are going to go in the fridge until we're ready to eat them.
Cool. Happy Ferret says, question, I love the filling for eggs, but the whites, not so much. Any suggestions for adding flavor to the whites?
Oh, man. Any of my egg white recipes. My potato salad recipe uses egg whites. My mashed potatoes use egg whites. The buns that I make use a lot of egg whites. Like there's a lot of different ways to use egg whites where you don't have to just eat egg whites. You can also take the eggs and scramble the whites or do something different to them and then add the yolks in after the fact, and you can like really put a lot of seasoning in the whites. Like there's a bunch of different options, but if you just don't like the flavor of egg whites and so you have a whole bunch of egg whites sitting around, eat the yolks however you like them, and then use the egg whites to do things like my egg white bread, that kind of stuff. Like that's a great idea to just kind of have, another option of what you can do with it.
That's awesome. What Jenrin Scraps just said, I think Chris needs to be a therapist. There you go.
And that's really funny. I teach guitar, in case you guys didn't know, on top of all the other things that I do, I teach guitar. And something that I've always said to my students is a lot of times I feel more like a life coach or a therapist who happens to have a guitar than I do a guitar teacher. Because everything you're trying to do, be it your diet, be it playing guitar, cooking, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything goes back to how are you able to handle your life and how are you able to keep all of these things together and do the right stuff. And if you're not in a good place just up here, you'll never be in a good place down here. So, all right, so what we're gonna do is I'm going to take my bowl full of steak strips here. I've got these egg yolks. So the steak strips have been marinating in that egg white, and they've kind of soaked in a lot of that stuff with the seasoning. So now I'm going to add the egg yolks right over the top. And that's going to give us the egg coating on the outside, which is what our breading is going to stick to. So we get messy. And we're just going to go in there and just massage that around. You don't want to like destroy the steaks. I mean, you know, be as gentle as necessary to not destroy the steak. But, you know, beef is a very hearty meat, especially when it's a steak like this cut into strips. These strips are about somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch thick. Okay, so we're just going to get that really nicely coated with the egg yolk. And it's already got that egg white and the salt, which is helping to tenderize it as well. As it's been sitting in the refrigerator, that helps tenderize it when you put that egg white on there. It's actually a technique pretty related to that whole velveting thing, which I know a bunch of people have been wanting the recipe where I will show you how to velvet chicken or velvet beef or any of those other kinds of things in a carnivore way. I will be doing that hopefully soon. But this is sort of part of that process, at least. It's not the whole thing, but it's some of it.
Rankin Cook has a question on this, babe.
Yep.
He says, why did you let your steak soak in egg whites?
So the egg whites are alkaline. The yolk has a little bit of an acidity to it, but the whites are alkaline, which means it drops the pH of the meat. So it makes it less acidic by soaking in that. And when you change the pH, that way the meat fibers start to tenderize and the collagen breaks down. So when you go to eat it, it's more tender, and it also holds onto the seasoning like salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So when I go to dip it in the breading mixture, my seasoning doesn't all come off. So it's a double whammy. Okay, so the steak is ready to be breaded and fried. I'm gonna turn my oven on to a keep warm setting. I'm gonna turn the fan on just a little bit here because this might get a little smoky. And I have my pan heated up. This is kind of on a medium heat. You just have to figure out where your particular stove temperature is gonna be. This is a mixture of lard and bacon grease. Fry in whatever animal fat you want. I would suggest either lard, bacon grease, beef tallow, something like that that's not gonna burn real quickly. And then I'm gonna grab, because you wanna have this ready to go, and actually, probably gonna be a lot of it. So instead of a plate, I'm just gonna get a cookie sheet out. So we're just gonna get a cookie sheet, and I'm gonna put a little parchment paper over it, because the parchment paper actually kind of soaks up a little of the excess grease from when you're frying stuff. It's gonna go in the oven on that top rack. So we have a little station set up here. Okay, so just pull this off because it's getting a little smoky, so I don't want it to be too hot. But one hand is messy, one hand is for tongs, and I've got these tongs linked down below with a silicone tip, so if you have a non-stick kind of cast iron sort of a thing like I do here with these pans, you're not gonna scratch them all up. Okay, so steak strips go into the breading, and I'm gonna put them in a single layer, one at a time. You don't wanna overcrowd your pan, and you do not wanna overcrowd your bowl of your breading mixture. Okay, sprinkle that over the top, like so. And these are fairly thin, so they're gonna fry pretty quick, and they're gonna cook through plenty fast. I'm not really worried about whether I can keep them medium rare. I just want to not overcook them and dry them out to a super, like overly well done, but okay.
Southern Keto says, by the way, yes, down here we will eat a cowboy boot if it's breaded and fried. Amen.
Yep. Now, when you put stuff in hot oil, lay it away from you. So start on the close side of the pan, lay it away from you, so if it splashes oil, it goes that way. If you put this in and it's not sizzling, like we've talked about, get it back out because something went wrong.
Marit Cigars wants to know, do you ever use cast iron cookware?
I don't own any cast iron cookware right now. I would love to have some, but it kind of comes down to the the cost and the storage because I already don't have a lot of extra kitchen space. My wife will tell you what it was like when we tried to move in here and figure out where everything was going to go. I already have so many kitchen appliances, and I would love cast iron, but it's just not within the budget right now, and she'll probably kill me until I can figure out where it would go in the kitchen if I came home with something like that right now.
I won't kill you. I just get a storage shed out back or something.
Just beat me up a little bit?
Yeah. Be creative. D. Lee says, thank you for the tip on the oil splashing.
Yeah, of course.
Very helpful.
That kind of stuff makes a big difference. Little things like that, guys, just, they make it so much nicer to be in the kitchen and not feel like you're going to hurt yourself or cause some sort of major issue the entire time.
Some people want to know, where do you buy your beef gelatin?
So I like to get mine just on Amazon. I get Now brand beef gelatin. I think theirs is the best that I've used. You can use like the cheap unflavored gelatin from the store, but it does not do as good of a job. Like it will work. It just does not do as good of a job, and I don't use massive amounts of it at one time. So for it to have that much of an impact for such a small amount of it, and I'm not like spending, you know, ridiculous amounts of money every week on beef gelatin, I think it's worth the purchase. Okay. Very carefully turn those over and fry the other side. You can see this beautiful breading though that it creates on these steak strips. It's going to be nice and crispy.
What Jenrin Scraps is cracking me up. She says that you're super cute and that you have a lot of knowledge in the kitchen. She has several different comments here, but she wanted to make sure to note that she's married, so she's not flirting. So you're fine. I think he's cute too. Very smart.
That's fantastic.
That's funny.
That means there's at least two women in the world that think I'm cute. My wife and Jen.
Your mom probably. I'm sure if she's watching. She
maybe she does.
Maybe.
That depends on the day. Her opinions on my cuteness can be bought and lost.
G. Lee says, oh, that looks delicious.
Yes, these are going to be super, super good.
Shelly Anderson is here. She says, hi from
Hi,
Tasmania,
Shelly.
Australia.
Wow, it's got to be late for you over there, doesn't it?
She says, I don't normally get to see these lives because I think she means I'm off work at this time and I'm on leave this week. Good
Wow,
for you.
well, that's great. Well, I'm so glad you chose to spend a little of your time off with us.
Yeah.
That's so kind. That's awesome. All right, so now these are ready to come out. So here's what we're going to do. This right here, this is called a side towel. I've always got one hooked on my side here because I can literally just go like this. It hangs right there. Off come the steak strips.
Awesome. Jeremy W. just tuned in, I guess. She says, must have missed it. What bread are you using? Breading.
What breading? Yes. So it's linked down below my carnivore chicken fried steak video. This is a carnivore breading that I use to do that as well. It's based off of Indigo Neely's breading. That's where I first learned how to kind of do this technique. So shout out to her. But it's my own tweak. It's got pork rinds. You can use the chicken flour, which I've also linked down below how to make. But it's got like a meat flour, so like pork rinds, chicken flour, something like that. This has Parmesan cheese, it has egg white powder, it has gelatin, and a little bit of Cajun seasoning just to make it nice and tasty.
Smells so good in here right now.
It does. It smells like I'm making a chicken fried steak, honestly.
Someone says, this reminds me of the country style steak my mom used to make.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. It's very much based off of that. I have a feeling that restaurant that was in that TV show episode that I watched where I kind of saw somebody doing, you know, something similar to this that they were getting through that drive-through. I have a feeling that restaurant is probably basing that off of like a chicken fried steak or a country style steak.
Definitely. Hey, babe, by the way, we have it seems like a lot of people that are just now tuning in.
Yeah.
That just kind of missed it. Could you maybe just real quick fill them in on what we're making and what you're doing right now?
Absolutely. These are battered and deep fried or breaded and deep fried steak strips made with a sirloin steak. You could make this with ribeye or New York strip or whatever kind of steak you prefer, but these are breaded and fried steak strips. And then in the refrigerator, I will show you when we pull it back out, is my buffalo eggs, which are kind of like a buffalo wing and deviled egg hybrid, and it's a totally experimental recipe. You guys are the first to see it.
Chris Cooking Nashville, where we teach you how buffaloes make eggs.
That's right.
Love it.
Watching them lay those things is incredible, and they're huge.
You're funny. Marie Skidmore.
I'm stupid, that's what I am, but it's all right.
I don't know about that. Marie says, you guys are my new go-to. Love you guys.
We thank you so much. We love you, and we're so glad that you're here. And guys, I appreciate that. Like, you know, I've made the comment slightly joking, but slightly serious before. I want to have the best keto and carnivore recipes on the internet. And the only way to get there is for you guys to continue sharing what we do and supporting what we do, because that's how we've gotten here, and that's how we get to the next step, and we just appreciate you guys so much.
Richard Williams says, like steak fingers. That's how I would probably think like of these. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great description of these.
The Blue family says, I'm new. I really like your food.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being here. We like the fact that you're here, and we appreciate the fact that you like our food, because it wouldn't be very much fun to do this if people didn't like what we do, so.
Yeah. Marie Skidmore says, let's see here. Oh, I had it, and then I lost it. Oh, here it is. Question, is Patreon the only way to support you?
So you can go to the Patreon channel. You can go and click the join button on my YouTube channel, which you can see it either on my YouTube page, like you can go to my channel on the page, it'll be there, or there's usually a join button below the videos, especially if you're logged in like on a computer. It won't be there if you're watching on a TV. So you can do any of those. You can also go to the Buy Me a Coffee link. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link down there. You can just make a donation there if you like. Or truthfully, I've had a few people that say they don't really want to do any of that because they don't necessarily like that all of those different things take, you know, a small cut, but a cut nonetheless. And I've had a few people that have asked to just Venmo me or PayPal me just a thank you. So, and you can also do super chats and super thanks here. And that helps us see your question as well. So all different options. You can also use the Amazon link that is in the description. Even if you're not buying stuff that's in my Amazon store, if you click that link and you sign in, anything that you buy within 24 hours, I get a few cents commission off of. So if you're already going to buy stuff on Amazon, you can just click my link. And it's just a great way that doesn't cost you any extra money, that helps support the channel with a few little pennies here and there, which start to add up more than you would think.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of all that, babe.
Yeah.
Sylvia Carver just gave you a $50 super thanks.
Oh, Sylvia, you are a rock star. Rock on.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And she says, hey, Chris, everyone needs a cast iron skillet. So you better go get yourself one right after this live stream.
Right after this live stream,
yeah.
I will go on Amazon or wherever I can find a good price on one that I really like, and I will get a cast iron skillet, and we will name that cast iron skillet Sylvia.
Yes, we will name it. Thank you so much.
We name all of our guitars, so it only makes sense that we have special gear in the kitchen that we would start naming that too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
That's very kind, very, very sweet.
Extremely kind.
Wisconsin Prepper says, I like cooking dinner while you are cooking dinner. That's
yeah.
fun. Little cook along.
That's really cool. We've actually talked about we're going to do, I've got to kind of figure out how it would work, but I'm going to do some stuff in the future where I'll do like a cook along kind of one of these, where I'll give you guys a grocery list ahead of time, and I'll keep it something that's fairly easy to follow along with, but you can actually cook the recipe along with me if you have like a device where you can set it up in your kitchen and, you know, watch while we cook, and we'll just cook together and you just follow along and I'll teach you how to do something cool.
Mm-hmm. Just Susie's Thought says, I just watched Indigo earlier making the brioche buns. I think that was your recipe. I love y'all shouting out and supporting each other.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, that was one of the first. I think the mashed potatoes was the first recipe of mine that she tested. And then I think the brioche buns, which was like a month or something later, was the second one that she tested out of mine. And she was super cool at the beginning of me starting my channel here to do, you know, shout outs and recipe reviews like that, because that's when you're starting on a YouTube channel. No one knows who you are. No one's paying attention to anything you do. No one cares what you're doing, truthfully, until someone like her goes, hey, this is really cool. And they test out some stuff and tell people about it. So she did that for me. The first one to do that for me was Anita at Ketogenic Woman, which is why she's just like family to us. We just love her to death. So yeah, those were a couple of the first people to kind of show off my stuff to their supporters, and it was very, very much appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Are there any newer YouTubers in the keto and carnivore space that you are enjoying watching their videos that you think people may want to go check out?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of different ones. First of all, there is a guy, he's probably watching in the comments right now. Everybody say hello to Victor from Southern Keto. He and I have become very good friends, and his channel is great. We actually did a manicotti recipe, the two of us together. I've got that video on my channel, and you should go check it out because I did a carnivore version and he did a keto version, and his looked incredible. So Victor and I are working together. We're actually working on something new for you guys, and hopefully we'll have that ready sooner than later, although I'm the one, unfortunately, dragging my feet a little bit. I'm so sorry, Victor, but we're going to get there. That's really cool. Also, Dustin at Keto Simple. He does some live streams, and like every Sunday morning he's doing a live stream. I love tuning in there. He's super cool. Really, really appreciate him. He's going to be at Keto Palooza, so I'm looking forward to meeting him because Ash and I are going to Keto Palooza this year, so shout out to Keto Palooza. And then there's a guy, Big Man Alaska, who wants me to make carnivore Cheez-Its in the worst way, and I'm thinking about it and trying it and thinking about how I would do that for him. But you guys should go to Southern Keto, to Big Man Alaska, and to Keto Simple, and you guys should subscribe to all of them because they're all great dudes who are doing some really great stuff. They've been very kind and supportive of what I do, and I would love to see all three of their channels just continue to grow. And they're doing really good things. We need good people in the space, and we need to support good people in the space. And I fully believe that all three of them are very good dudes.
Absolutely. Clearly not a new YouTube channel, but a lot of people are mentioning Wes from High Gluten Low Carb.
Yes.
And how great he is. And
absolutely. Wes is just one of the most amazing people. He has such a good heart, and he's so good at, like, what he does is like recipe testing. So he takes other people's keto and carnivore type recipes, and he either features them or sometimes pits them against each other to see which one is his favorite. And it's always fun. He's very good at doing it, very good at explaining things, great at recreating recipes, and he's so kind to give shout outs and attention already getting it. And he's one of those good people in the space that really helps us all have more and better stuff to work with. So now granted, Wes doesn't need any of my help whatsoever. His channel is gigantic compared to mine, but if you don't know who Wes is, and if you want to go over to High Gluten Low Carb, I'm sure he would definitely appreciate the subscribe from you as well. Tell him I sent you because he's quick becoming a good buddy, and I really appreciate him.
Absolutely. Debbie Saving says, hey everyone, so glad that you and Ash will be at Keto Palooza.
Yeah, we are excited about it. Kind of figured it was time. You know, I wasn't sure if I was like, and I told Ash, I was like, I want to go meet everybody, and I'd love to be there. I just hate to spend the money when we're, trying to do stuff for her music career and, all that kind of stuff. And she was like, no, this is important. We need to do this too. And so we pulled the trigger and we got our tickets, and we're really excited to just meet everybody who's going to be there, and hope that you will come up and say hello and give us a chance to take a picture with you and just talk to us and tell us about your story. We love hearing about that.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, let me scroll here. It may take me just a second.
Yeah, take your time.
Sylvia, who was so sweet and kind, that was able to give you the money for a
skillet.
Yeah. Let me find this. Hold on. She made a comment, and I just need to scroll and read. She says, "You're welcome. Actually, I am thanking you. I almost died from diabetes in August. Never even knew I had it. Your recipes helped save my life."
Oh my gosh, Sylvia, I am so proud of you for being able to use this to take back your health, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, but man, are we glad that you figured it out and that you are now able to use these things to take that back in control, and I'm so glad that these recipes are helpful for you in that. That's why I love doing this, because there are real people that are going through real struggles, and we just want to be able to help. So, so glad that you were able to figure that out and that you were here with us.
Just Susie's thoughts is, Susie, you're funny. You're making me laugh. She said, "OMG, I would love an Alaskan man wanting Cheez-Its if I weren't already married." And she has a couple more comments. So I think Susie, she really liked the Cheez-Its too, babe. So
Yeah.
get on that recipe.
We'll definitely be looking into how to make that happen for you guys, because I know he really wants them, and you know he's super kind and been very kind to come and follow my channel and shout me out and that kind of stuff, and he's just a good dude, and I like making good dudes happy if I can.
Agreed.
And dudettes. I'm not gonna discriminate genders here. Dudes and dudettes, either one.
Oh, funny. Honey, people are saying how yummy these look. They're so tasty.
Yeah, I think these are going to be really, really good. So I'm going to get a little bit more lard in the pan because we're getting a little low. Grab a spoon right here.
Yeah. The Blue family had a question a little bit ago.
Sure.
Can you kind of briefly explain the difference between keto and carnivore for people that maybe don't actually know the difference?
Absolutely. So keto is a diet that is low carb enough to keep you in a state of ketosis, which means you are burning basically fat for energy. You're living off of fat and proteins, and you have ketones in your blood. So ketones is really what you would then be burning for energy. So anything that keeps you personally in a state of ketosis is what is appropriate for your version of the keto diet. And some people can do that with a lot less carbs, and some people can get away with a lot more carbs. My wife, being one of those people who could eat, a lot more carbs than I can, and she still has health benefits and loses weight and all these different kinds of things. Carnivore is when you then take the idea of keto and you stay as close to zero carbs as you can while simultaneously eating only animal product. Now, if you want to be strict carnivore, that means you're not going to use spices, you're not going to use a lot of dairy. You are basically going to eat meat and eggs. And if you want to be really super strict carnivore, you would go just meat and salt and water. And if you want to do the lion diet, you would do only red meat and salt and water. I don't subscribe to any of those. It works great for some people, and that's fantastic. I don't personally do it, but I'm sure that if I did, I would probably see some benefits, but who knows? I don't even know if that's the ultimate goal that we should all be chasing after. But some people are, very passionate about that being the right way, if there is such a thing, of doing things like carnivore. I do all animal products. So I use eggs, I use dairy, and then I do spices and some sauces. If you stay below 10 grams of carbs, but you allow yourself to have, some veggie type products, that is ketovore, as coined the phrase by Nisha, Dr. Barry's wife, who is also a registered nurse and a health coach and all these other kinds of things. That is ketovore. So carnivore is staying as close as you can to zero carbs and basically eating only meat, eggs, and other animal products like dairy. Strict carnivore, you cut out those spices and sauces, and lion diet, you cut out everything except the red meat and the salt. So there we go.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Love questions like that. I love people that are asking or watching, that are interested in learning and trying to better themselves and better their families' lives. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do, just to try to be there and assist you in that goal as best we know how. So
Lynn says, Chris, if I tried that fancy little kick you did on that oven door, I'm sure I'd fall on my face.
You know, little things like that come from stupid amounts of hours standing in the kitchen and having too many things going on at one time and just needing to get something done quick, and you kind of don't think about it. And so now when I do things like the little kick the oven door move, I just kind of don't even think about it. I just sort of do it. But you know, it's, people ask me like, are you a professional chef, or, you know, did you ever work in the restaurant industry or things like that? And I'm not. I'm just a very well trained home cook that has done more research than probably anyone could shake a stick at. But I watch restaurant chefs, Michelin star level chefs, especially whenever I can, and I try to learn tips and tricks from watching them. And one of the things that I've noticed is, not that they kick their oven door necessarily, but they will do whatever they need to do to be able to move quickly around their kitchen and to be effective with their space. So if there's ways to be more efficient and move around your kitchen with purpose, they will absolutely do that. And so I have taken that on and taught myself to kind of do some things like that as well. And kicking the oven door kind of comes from that. So you guys see how simple this process has been? I've got my flour bowl, my steak bowl that is now empty was sitting off to the side. So it's literally steak into the flour, into the oil. This is the hand that stays clean, and then it comes from here into the oven. So it's only moving in one direction. Anytime you have a multi-step thing like this, make it easier on yourself by starting in one place and ending in the other place where you're not going back and forth. A lot of people do that. It's like, take this and then I come over here and get it in the flour, and then I got to get it here, and then I got to put it over here. And so, don't do that, because then you spend your entire life doing this in the kitchen. I'm not interested in running. I hate running. Definitely don't want to do it circles in the kitchen.
Definitely not.
No, I can have a lot of fun and I can exercise by playing games and, you know, being outside and doing that kind of stuff. That's cool. Going for a run, whether it's in the kitchen or not really my thing.
So the Blue family has asked a couple questions on here, but they're saying on Friday they're actually going in for gastric bypass surgery.
Okay.
So we'll for sure say a prayer for them, but they're trying to, I guess, kind of learn a little bit more about keto and carnivore and all. So
what I would suggest you do, go to Dr. Ken Berry's channel and watch as much as you possibly can between now and then. And, you know, I mean, you obviously have to make the right decision with you and your doctor. I know that some people are not fans of the gastric bypass. I don't know anything about your situation, so I can't tell you if it's a good or a bad idea. But he can tell you from a doctor's point of view what you need to know about those kinds of things and what you need to know about keto and carnivore. And that way you can be as informed as possible in making all of your decisions. And I think it'll just give you a lot more confidence of what you should do and when and why. So Dr. Berry is who I would send anybody to.
Cool. Also, too, I've seen about 3 or 4 people on here saying that this week, for whatever reason, they cheated.
Yeah.
And whatnot, and kind of just feeling a little guilty about that. Would you like to maybe give some advice in your
Yes, I would love to give you some
expertise?
advice. Yes. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. So here's the deal. You are human beings. No one is perfect. No one in the keto and carnivore space is perfect. And if there's anyone out there in the keto carnivore space who's telling you they are perfect, they're lying to you. So don't pay any attention to anyone who's telling you that. Cheat meals are not something that are good for your body. Okay, I'm fully aware of that. I 100% admit that a cheat meal is not going to do something good for your body. That being said, number one, it does happen. Number two, sometimes there's a lot more important things to deal with in your life than just picking how many carbs you're going to eat that day. And I'm not saying that that should be an excuse to not eat things that are good for you or to allow yourself to have a bunch of stuff that you know is not good for you. But you have got to be able to give yourself grace on these things, because the only way to be successful here long term is to understand why you're doing what you're doing, and to know that it's important, but that it does not define your value as a human being whether or not you ate too many carbs today. You are a beautiful, wonderfully made human being that we love and that many other people love, regardless of how many carbs you eat. That is not what makes you valuable, and that's not what people care about. And if people do care about that and they treat you differently because of that particular thing, that's not somebody you should care what they think anyway. So I get it. I've been there. I've done the whole, I've had a cheat meal and now I feel terrible and I feel like a fraud and a fake and this and that and blah, blah, whatever. I've done all of that. And I went on carnivore 365 days without a cheat meal because I wanted to prove I could do it. And I wanted to show other people that it can be done. But never in that 365 days did I ever feel like doing so made me somehow better than anybody else, or that was something special that the rest of you should be feeling like you have to measure up to, and if you don't, you're doing something wrong. Like that's ridiculous and it's dogmatic. I encourage you to not cheat, but if it does happen, you go, well, whoops, that wasn't the best food for me, and the very next meal you go right back to what you're doing, pretend it never happened. And you remember that we love you no matter how many cheat meals you have, and that your cheat meals don't define your value.
I love that.
Because you guys are great just the way you are.
By the way, I know you and I were talking about this the other day, hun, but
Yeah.
there's so many people that are here on the chats that are actually sending them different doctors and different things that actually have a lot of YouTube videos on this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So shout out to just everyone who tunes in and helps
Yes.
in the comments and shares success stories and encouragement and stuff. It's just
Absolutely.
always good to see.
And that's the thing, YouTube, like, we're not here for medical advice, and neither is anyone in the chat section. We're all here to share information so that you can be informed and have knowledge. So when you go talk to your doctor, you're informed and you can make good decisions with their help. That's what this is all for. And that's what we're all trying to do. And the fact that we can help each other and do that is massively, massively important and beneficial. And we're so glad that this community exists for us to be able to do that.
Yes. Barry Weems said, started a year ago on the keto carnivore diet and have lost over 100 pounds with another 100 to go and almost off all my blood pressure meds and diabetic medication has
Yes, rock on, Barry, man. Everybody in the comment section, put up some of those rock and roll signs and say rock on for Barry. What an incredible thing that we can share these kinds of stories with each other here. I mean, how beautiful is that? That you can have all of these health things you're concerned about, and you can change your diet with good information from people who are doing this, and suddenly all of this starts to improve. I mean, that's like getting a life back. That's amazing.
Incredible. Jenna says, hi, you two crazy kids. She's definitely talking to you and I, yes. Oh crap, arrived late. Keep forgetting about the time difference.
That's all right.
By the way, made your chicken fried steak recipe last year and was, of course, delicious.
Yeah, this is based off of that same kind of concept, but done with a very different outcome. So glad you enjoy that recipe. I really enjoy that. Again, for anyone who hasn't seen that video, if you go watch it linked down below, I apologize for that video and all of the videos that are that far back on my channel. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I still don't really know if I do, but I really didn't know what I was doing back then. So I apologize for what that will look like, but I promise the recipe itself is actually still just as good. It's just the lack of quality of video.
Maybe we'll redo that at some point.
Yes, we'll
Yeah.
definitely redo that video at some point to give you guys an updated look at the chicken fried steak. So
Not make it like a 30-minute long.
diatribe about nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel my keep warm on my oven. We're going to pull out some beautiful breaded steak strips, steak fries, I believe they were called. See, I thought about calling them steak fries or steak fingers or, something like that. But then I realized if I did that, people might not understand that it wasn't a French fry recipe. So that's why I went with the breaded steak strips. But here we are.
Delicious.
Yes, those are going to be absolutely fantastic. So we're going to let those not cool, but just not be quite so super hot. And we're going to serve them with ranch dressing made with the butter mayo. And we have our buffalo eggs. If you're tuning in late, you haven't seen these, but there's our buffalo eggs as well. I don't know about y'all, but I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, Maritza Garza says my mouth is watering. Mine too.
Yeah, these are going to be awfully good.
Smells amazing. So good.
Some ranch dressing in there.
Bob says dinner is served. Where is mine?
That's right. That's right. Okay, so we're going to see what we got going on here. First of all, steak fingers. That is a fabulous way to eat a steak, y'all. It's very tender. It's very juicy. And the breading on the outside, a little crunchy. Are you gonna hand me your phone, and I'll look at the comments, and you can taste one. You can tell everybody what you think.
Sure. Oh, well, look who's just showed up. Just ready to eat.
Yep, there she is.
Oh yeah.
Yep, Mel is waiting. That's for sure.
Mel's always waiting.
Okay.
Always ready. That's delicious.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm such an expert. I've been on carnivore for a week. But you do eat a lot of steak.
Absolutely.
Which I love steak, but I think just after time it gets old.
Yeah, it's nice to find different ways.
This is a great way to do it, though.
All right, we're gonna try one of these buffalo eggs. You guys didn't know buffaloes laid eggs, did you?
All the dad jokes. What does a buffalo egg taste like, babe?
That's fantastic. It's like buffalo dip. It's like buffalo dip in an egg form. You want to try one of those too?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Here, some people have some questions.
Yep,
So I'll give you my
phone. Did you fry in tallow? So I fried in lard and bacon grease, but you totally could fry in tallow, whatever you would like. I gotta try these. Yes, you definitely do. Give that baby a piece of steak. Listen, I took chopped up pieces of the steak trimmings and fried them up. They're gonna be going on her food, so don't feel bad for the dog. She has plenty of good food. We make her food from scratch. So where can I find the recipes? Tina, for these particular videos, I don't do recipes for this because these kinds of videos are about cooking by instinct, and I just kind of show you concepts and sort of how to cook on the fly. But all of the things like the breading, how I do my easy peel eggs, my ranch dressing, my buffalo sauce, those videos are all linked down below because those are specific recipes. This concept of how to use them to make steak fries or steak fingers or steak strips, whatever you want to call these, that's just kind of think on your feet and cook as you go by sight, by smell, by taste, by touch, and just by instinct. So I don't do specific recipes for videos in my live streams because they're not really recipes, they're just concepts and techniques. So I don't have specific recipes for you for this, but yeah, that's what we do here. Yes. So yeah, I don't know exactly where Ash was, but she's eating a steak finger right now, so.
Well, I had one of the buffalo eggs, and those are delicious.
Yes.
I like how you added the chicken
Yep.
in there. It's like a buffalo dip served on a deviled egg. It's very interesting. Never had anything like it before.
You're very welcome, Tina. Shirley Miller is here, love and light. Greetings from Medic Shirley Girl, Beaver Lodge, Alberta, Canada. I bet it's colder up there than it is here. Love your energy and repeat watching your videos, as I'm not a chef, but experimenting with your videos that help me. I'm so glad. Did you cut the steak across the grain or with it? So, being sirloin, the grain on these was actually kind of more up and down in the meat. So I just cut them in strips. So if you get a sirloin steak that's kind of shaped, you know, oblong this way, I cut across it this way, just for the size. But these are cut so thin and then tenderized, they're still super tender. So how you cut them, honestly, I don't think was gonna make too much of a difference. That's also why I used something like this. If you were to use something like chuck or some kind of a roast that can be very firm and chewy, you would maybe have to be a little more concerned about the grain because you're not going to be long cooking something like that. And if you don't cut it thin enough and if you cut it the wrong way, it may be really tough to chew. So, but these, just as they are, these are absolutely amazing.
While you took my phone, so I had one hand free, I ate like 3 of them.
Yeah.
So I can attest that they are incredible. Very good.
Yeah, I was talking and she's just over here just chewing away, just eating.
You were like, hand me your phone. I'm like, I got one hand. I can dunk a chicken strip. Or
Man, those
chicken
are
strip.
good.
They're delicious.
Do we have any final questions before we call it a day? It's been a little bit of a long one today for you guys. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
Babe, I think we got everyone's questions. Do you just want to talk about what videos you have coming out and kind of what's going on?
Yeah, so this coming tomorrow is going to be Ash's first week of carnivore health vlog. She has some really important stuff to say, so I really hope you guys will tune in and listen and watch that whole video because there's a lot of important stuff. And especially later on in that video, she tells a lot of a personal story that I just think is really important for you guys to know about her and know about us. That's going to be really good. Also, on Saturday, I have Carnivore Hamburger Helper coming out, and it was amazing. Was it not amazing?
It was so good.
You ate the whole thing, and it heats up really well. She ate the leftovers the next day, so
It heated up really well. Like it was incredible.
She said she thought it was actually maybe better heated up than it was fresh. It was so, so good. So I'm going to show you guys how I did that with the cheese sauce and the burger and the noodles and the way I did everything. That's coming out Saturday. Also, my channel has crossed 3 million views. Ow. So we are going to be doing, in next week's live stream, we are going to do a giveaway sponsored by Keto Chow. So thank you, Keto Chow, for being willing to do this. They're gonna do like a Keto Chow premium pack and a couple of salty packs. So one prize for all 3 of the million views. And I don't know exactly what we're gonna do yet, but in that live stream, we'll do something to do a giveaway and pick some winners. So in celebration of that, we're gonna do a giveaway and I'll be probably doing a recap video of the first 3 million views and hoping that there's good 30 million plus more in front of us. So that will be coming out soon. And then there's a little special other video coming out. I can't tell you any more about that, but a little something there. And that's what we're working on right now. So it's been a really good week and the channel is doing amazing things. That's all thanks to you guys. Please make sure to go down and click the like button if you haven't already. Share this video so that YouTube knows it's important. Comment to let us know you were here. And all the links are down below to support the channel if that is something you would like to do. We just appreciate you guys. We cannot do any of this without you, and you are the ones that keep this afloat. And things like carnivore mashed potatoes or a little special something I just invented last night that only my band members, only my live band members in the YouTube memberships or the Patreon group know about right now. They're the only ones that I've told. But it's going to be coming in a couple of weeks and it's going to be really special. It's kind of like the next carnivore mashed potatoes, I think. So really excited about that one, but that exists because of people in the band and people who do things to support the channel because we can't do this without y'all. Thank you so, so much for those of you that show us so much love and support. We appreciate you and we just love the fact that we have the community here. So I think that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else to add, honey?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you go down below and look at all of those things and tune in tomorrow to the health vlog and we will see you guys right here in the kitchen for the next thing. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my lovely wife Ash Taylor behind the camera. Eat your meat, especially when it looks like steak fingers or when it looks like buffalo eggs. Love your life and we're gonna see you right here in our kitchen for the next live stream, 3 million views plus, and the next recipe. Bye guys.